Let's take a look at the second sentence. Most kids grew up with it. Now, it is the Wizard of Oz because it continues the story, right? It's the student's second sentence. Now, tap. Is that a complete sentence?
Yes.
Why? And the predicate. The predicate with it. Okay, what's the subject, Hamo? Kids. What's the verb, Ice? Grew up. And the predicate, Warren? With it? With it? Okay. That's a quick sentence number 2. We're finished. It's a complete sentence. It's a simple sentence, and the student wrote it correctly. Jane? See, when you write a simple sentence, you won't have to worry about making the mistakes that you make with the complex sentences. Right? Okay, so sentence number 2. Finished. Let's take a look at sentence number 3. Either they read the story or watched the play. Is that correct, Warren? Why not? Because the tense. Let's take a look at the tense. Either they, is that word read or read, Tap? Read. Yeah, I think it's read. I really don't know because they're spelled the same, right? We don't really know, but they're talking about the past, right? So let's assume that it's read. Either they read the story or watched the play. Now, if we're talking about the past, Jane, what's the tense of the word watch? What? What's the tense of the word now? Present? Right? Is that correct? No, because like we talked about before, when we write a story with, are you taking notes with? When we write a story, we're talking about something that already happened, usually. Only. So again, just like a lot of you do, you're not using your past tense. Let's remember we talked about that already, right, Ice? Use the past tense because if it's a story, it happened already, right? If it didn't happen, it's not a story. Okay? Right? Okay, so, Jane, you said it already. What's the correct tense here? And what is the past tense of what? Okay, everybody, let's say that word. Watched. Watch. Oh. Not washed. Okay, now let's either they read the story or watched the play, which is rarely seen nowadays. Or you say nowadays, right? Remember arjon.com? We talked about typical mistakes that Thai students make. Wasn't that one of them? Huh? It was, right? And look what happened. One of you made that mistake. Even after we watched Arjun.com. Okay, the word processor already knows it's a mistake. Okay, so either they watched the play, either they read the story or watched the play, which is rarely seen nowadays. I took out the parentheses because which is rarely seen nowadays. What kind of applause is that, Sarah? What? Which is rarely seen nowadays? That's an independent clause is a complete sentence. It's a dependent clause, right? So I just put it in the correct form of a dependent clause. Okay? That's better than putting a dependent clause in parentheses. Right, Papa? Okay, but I'm going to go even further, okay? How many words? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Anyway, 14 words. The story is focused on friendship, kindness, and imagination. That's a correct sentence. I'm not going to talk about it today. Now, what is this talking about? Is this talking about the present or the past, Sarah?
Present.
What is this talking about? Oh, what? Wait, what is this talking about? What is this talking about? Yeah, so I thought, okay, if I want... They're writing a story about the Wizard of Oz, right? In history. Right, Jane? I think it's mostly talking about the history of the Wizard of Oz. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to talk about the present, I'll just do it in another paper. Just write another paper. And keep it simple. Right, Lauren? Chris? So I thought, okay, I'll take it out. Either they read the story or watched the play. Okay? Anyway, people probably know that the play is rarely seen nowadays because nobody knows about the play nowadays. So you don't have to say it to the reader, right? Tap. You don't have to say that to the reader. Let them wonder. Okay, so how many words? 9 words. How many words was the mistaken sentence? 14. 35% cut in words. All right. Now, does anybody here know Stephen King?
Is it black?
What?
Is it no.
Stephen King wrote a lot of horror books, scary stories. And his stories were made into movies. One of them is Cujo, about a crazy dog who bites people, who has rabies, like the dog that bit me might have had. Right, Tango? Anyway, Stephen King, last year he made $150 million. Yeah? Because his books became movies.